Hey Star Wars fans, thought I'd do an update here of my .45 scale lightsaber collection. Now the really shiny ones are actually metal and they're made by master replicas, and this one here is made by EFX Collectibles. But all these other ones you see here I got off of shapeways.com. They're a website that does a whole bunch of 3D printing, and it's not just lightsabers. They do all sorts of miniature figures and coffee mugs, almost anything you could think of they can 3D print it. Really cool. Anyways, I bought these and I painted them myself, so I apologize, some of the paint jobs are kind of weak. I'm not a professional model painter, but I think I did well enough that, at least from this view, it doesn't look so bad. You know, if I look really close, there's a lot of mistakes and sloppiness on my paint jobs, but gotta live with it. Anyway, so I thought I'd talk about which lightsabers belong to which Star Wars characters, and let's take a look. I will talk about how I painted these as well at the end of the video. So this first set here, we have Ahsoka Tano's straight sabers, her first pair. Okay. This dirty one here is Ima Gundi's lightsaber. And when I watched Star Wars Rebels, he seemed to have a purplish kind of dirty lightsaber. So anyways, that's what I did there. This one next to it is shared by a couple Jedi, Eth Koth and Kit Fisto. This greenish one, we have Kanan Jarrus, his two-piece. These are all one piece of plastic, by the way. It's not like a model kit, so you have to mask off and paint these different colors separately. Okay, so this silver one up here is Aura Singh's lightsaber. Below it, we have Rey's scavenger saber, and below that, we have the Rey Reforged saber. Okay. Over here, with this blue front, two different Jedi use this type of saber as well, and Luminara Unduli and Plo Koon are Jedis that use this. Next to it, we have a little tiny Padawan training saber. Okay. So over here, we have the curved lightsabers for Ahsoka Tano. Alright, those are all the metal master replica ones. So this one here is Leia's lightsaber. Gotta get their little button there. Okay. This is Anakin's training Padawan saber, I guess. His very first saber as a kid before he became Darth Vader. Okay. This long one here is Cal Kestis's double-ended saber, or staff if you will. This is the dark saber that Sabine Wren used in Rebels. I don't think it's the one from Mandalorian. Not sure about that. And I apologize for this. You see this nastiness? This case is actually a bulletin board, and it had a layer of cork, and I removed that cork, but apparently that cork was attached with this super sticky double-sided tape, and I just haven't had the time to clean that out. So that's the ugliness there. Okay, a really nice one here is Ezra's first lightsaber, the stapler type lightsaber. And then later on he moved to a more traditional one. So this is Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber. Going a little out of order, but this is Asajj Ventress's double saber. Now this one actually is three pieces. The two sabers and a little connector piece. But it's not a really tight friction fit. I had to use some sticky tack to keep these together. I guess I could glue it, but then I can't break it apart in the future. Okay, so this one is used by two Jedi as well. Aayla Secura and Ki Adimundi. Okay, so this long here, this is Bastila Shan's staff. Double-ended saber again. Okay. So this one is used by two Jedi as well. Adi Gallia and Shakti. Alright, and then this one here, also used by two, Aayla Secura again, and Barriss Offee. Use this one here. This thing, this nightstick looking thing, is a Jedi Temple Guard Shoto. So I think it's a really cool design. And then this giant one here is a Jedi Temple Guard staff. So this is a one-piece sort of thing. And it does look big and all, but when you compare it to like Darth's sabers, the thickness makes sense. I mean, it's supposed to be two full lightsabers with a middle staff piece, so it makes sense. Now, here's a nice little one here. Pong Krell from Star Wars Rebels has a folding lightsaber. And this print is one piece, but you kind of just do that around the pivots and you break it. And so this is his staff saber. Pretty neat, I think. Alright, so okay, so let's talk about painting, because you may have noticed that some of the paint on this isn't so hot. Again, I'm not the best, but I did the best I could. Alright, so I learned a couple things. So I had a whole bunch of these Tamiya paints for painting, doing up dioramas and other things like that. But these acrylics are actually, they use a solvent to thin them down. So it's not, I would, if you're going to buy new paints, I would switch over to a different brand, which I'll talk about next, which is Vallejo paint. So this brand here, Vallejo, these are all true acrylic water-based paints, so you can thin these down with water. And also they have a line called Air AV or something, where it's already thinned down, so you just literally throw it into your airbrush and you start shooting. But these I just put in, and then I used a little dropper, a little plastic dropper, to add some water, you know, to thin it down in my airbrush. And then any touch-ups, I would do that as well. So, touching it up, and certain tight spots not worth airbrushing, I just bought a bunch of cheap paintbrushes, and then I modified a bunch of them as well. So you notice this one literally only has like 3 hairs on it to get into really tight areas, or this one's super short. I pretty much just took some small scissors and clipped off a bunch. I mean, these things are dirt cheap, so modify your paintbrushes as you need. The masking, because these mostly are one-piece lightsabers, it's a worthwhile investment to invest in these Tamiya or hobby type masking tapes. They're super thin, so they can wrap around stuff, wrap around curves. They have different thicknesses and widths, by the way. But the adhesive is quite tacky, so no paint is going to seep underneath this tape. So it's worth it, I think. But I did notice that even because it is tacky, that it'll strip paint off of the model. So when you're painting these models, you actually probably want to apply a clear coat between colors. Like this one here, I painted white, I masked it off with the tape, and then I painted the gold. But this one I just painted with brushes, this silver area. So for really tight spots like this oval here, it would be really hard to mask it off with tape, you know, being an oval. I bought this cheap rubber art masking fluid, and it did a good enough job. It's really kind of hard to work with. It dries so fast, but it's cheap, so you can try to experiment with it. Anyways, so that's what I learned about, you know, painting. I learned that I'm not the greatest, but I'm pretty happy with my collection now. I have a little room for a couple more sabers in the future. I'm sure there'll be more in the future. And I guess that's it. So if anyone has any comments, feel free. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.